Eyes truly are the windows of the soul, but I'm gonna show you how to do it, make it easy. Michelle Manriquez from Drop That Brush, and I want to help people who are not artists become artists. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. On my Facebook page, Drop That Brush, the drawing and the picture that I'm using for the demo will be there. Please sign up and you can do a screenshot and you can print it out and play with me. More important than the color is the shape of the eye. If you've got the correct shape of that person's eye, you will be able to do anything you want pretty much with color. But the shape has to be right, really dead right. Because that kind of shows you who they are. Because your shape is, are they smiling eyes? Are they sad eyes? Are they thinking eyes? All of that shows in the shape of the eye. Some people will do watercolor, will be very hyper realistic. I don't do those. Too much work, not excited. I just want to get in there, get out of there, be done. So I do kind of an impressionistic eye. You'll know that that's a person. You'll know that that is an eye, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't care if it's perfect. I want to enjoy myself, not making myself crazy to get it perfect. So that's how I think about it. There are certain characteristics that all eyes have. And I'm gonna walk you through them. They're just easy things that help you remember. Yeah, this is something you can do. The tear duct is red. Just a little dot in the tear duct. That's all you need. That's the tear duct. Which is right here, if you don't know where it's at. Your irises, which is the colored part of the eye, are not round. I watch people, they try to do it round. No, it's always an oval shape. And that's something that a beginner who's trying to learn to do eyes, just remember, it's never, ever round. On the edge of the iris, there'll be a dark area, guaranteed. Even for dark brown eyes, there'll still be an even darker edge. Underneath the eye, if you really carefully look at people's eyes, this area almost has some blue tone into it. There's something to know. Easy to do. Pop a little color in there, looks good. When you're having people's eyebrows, it's amazing because maybe a sun is shining off of that eyebrow. So here will be almost no hair at all. Then over here will be maybe darker. So there should be different values. Typically, I will always leave an area open. So you'll watch me do that in the demo, but I leave a place that can allow us to go in and out. Same thing I do with the lip. I will see eyes where one is, I had a friend that was drawing and he said, well, this is darker on that side and lighter over there. I thought, oh, you're absolutely right. I didn't realize. Simple things about drawing that sometimes you don't get. But one of the things is typically they will be different shading. Some may be darker, some may be lighter. This is an example of that we're gonna do, her eyes, where one is obviously lighter, one is darker. I'm not doing wrinkles. So you see there's a few wrinkles. She's probably in her 30s, 40s. I'm not doing wrinkles. I'm doing young people. We will eventually do with older people, but right now we're gonna focus and pretend she's young. So I'm ignoring that temporarily because I think she has beautiful eyes. I think the most important thing is the shape. If the shape's right, I can get by with all kinds of things. You can look at her eyes and there is light, darks, dark blues, there's a little almost green shade. Nobody's eyes are just brown or just blue. There actually is colors in it. You have to kind of look at it and you can be creative. As long as it's sort of the same kind of color, You can get by with a lot of things that you couldn't get by with as long as the shape's right. If the shape's wrong, that'll be a problem. But other than that, play with the colors. It won't hurt anything. I think it makes it much more interesting. Everything except the highlight of the eye is covered during the first wash. The white of the eye, I guarantee, is not truly white. There's either a little red, a little blue, there's definitely different colors into it. It's very light, and it will appear white by the time you get everything done. Are you ready to go play some eyes? I'm so excited. I love eyes. Let's talk about a couple of things. Number one, you see here where the eyelash is dark, and here you can barely see it. Here it doesn't look like she has an eyelash. I'm sure she does. It's probably just light, but it definitely is darker right there. You know, you can see that this is right here is darker. You know, you have to look at the shapes and what are we looking at. But the first one is gonna be a quick wash, so I know that everything will be covered, and this is how I normally start. So she is very much a redhead, so blue eyes. And I have this lovely, do you see this kind of orange? So I'm gonna come down till I get to a more pinky tone with a lot more water. And a little bit of blue to calm it down. You can see this very tea strength. Barely. I'm just trying to get, and I'm gonna actually put water on it just because when you're starting it makes it easier. So I'm gonna do everything but the highlights. So I can get a bigger brush. I'm gonna go ahead and let that go right on into the, I want to avoid those little eyes. Everything else can just cam right through. And this allows you to make soft markings when you're starting. I like to have different colors, so I think I'm going to, the same colors I'm using, I'm just kind of, and I'm looking, okay. I can see that there is lots of light yellow color right here. And I want to pop, I see the, a little, just, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's just a little bitty bit blue. And I'm gonna put it right here. And why? Because I think it'll make pretty with the, that. I know that this other side is more like this. I'll still put a little blue. And I know that this is lighter. I'm starting from the top to the bottom. Everything, did I hit it? Ah! I just can't help myself. So everything else, I'm putting a little blue here, knowing that there is blue. And there's blue here. And it could just be just a tad. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't have, you know, it must be this way or that way. Doesn't really matter. I am going to, I figure that's a little too dark right there. So I'm just gonna, I don't want it too dark. I want it to show, but not to be totally dark. So I'm just lacing it up a little bit. I'm squeezing my brush and just kind of softening it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now you see, I've got little things that are kind of boo-boos and stuff. It doesn't hurt anything. I'm not worried about it. I will get it next wash. Gonna blow dry. I am not gonna go straight into the eyes. I'm gonna get the darker shades here and around it. So I have at least a second layer and maybe even a third layer here and here before I start actually doing that. And the easiest way for a beginner is to simply go back through. So this area is my lightest lights. and the nose. Everything else is gonna be covered again. What do I need to know? I need to make sure, absolutely sure, it's totally dry. Otherwise, you get messes. Because I don't care if I have any water, I'm just gonna put some water here, but I'm not gonna go any further. I'm just gonna leave that so I can just loosen that up. So I'm gonna come here. See, is there anything light that now I'm gonna go ahead and leave eye alone. I'm not going to do anything with that. You know, there's dark here. So at this point, I'm going around the eyes. Now, of course, this is totally, can you guys see it? It's much darker. But again, I would avoid the eye. So I'm gonna be more thoughtful this time. And see right here, I'm not allowing that to come over there and to go through. I'll just allow it to kind of flow out as needed. And if a little bit comes in, I'm not worried, but I'm not like, you know, fighting to do it either. I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. So I'm gonna add some water so we just get some soft edges. I'm gonna make sure, you see how I'm gonna go ahead and make sure it's all soft. Now I know that there's gonna be this little red dot. So you know what, I'm just gonna drop in a little bit. I can see that I made a difference between the first wash and the second wash. My goal is not to make a portrait totally, but this is a good way to start. Still using a big brush. I'm gonna wet it one more time and really pop in some of this darks. And we may have to do it a third time, but again, I'm wetting the entire thing so that you can see the light, the medium, the dark. Here we go. So where do I need to put darks? Well, here. It kind of softens out here. Here it's a little dark. So I think I'll do this little part darker and this little part and put water on it. I meant to put water on it. Sorry, guys. Soften this. I'm going to use a little red because there's always red in the nose, guaranteed. Now, I want you to see what happened. I wasn't moving fast enough. And that's why I have little spills and stuff, which kind of didn't mean to do that. So there, huh? Should have put on water. Everybody put water on it. What if you don't like what you did? Okay, right now, I can always put water on it and just allow it to blend more. Sometimes all you need to do is just use water. Okay, well, I don't like how it looks. Welcome to my life. You know, my work it doesn't come together until the end. And I don't know why. I wished it wouldn't do this. All right, I am gonna go down to an 8. You do not need to go to this little bitty, no, you don't need to do that. It's not worth it. Make your life crazy. And then you're trying to make it perfect. And when you get perfect, then it's hard to just be free. And it's interesting, this little area is dark. I'm assuming it's dark because of the eyelashes. And this side is very light. And you can see it looks totally black, but I'm not gonna paint it just totally black. And here, it also looks black. And I'm not gonna paint it that way either. And so here I'm gonna go ahead and man, it's everything except for the highlight. I'm just gonna put a little color on it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna allow this just to come into the skin. Now there's already some color just because I've been painting. So I think that'll be a pretty good color. Let me see. Do I want to add a little different color just because? Okay. The other side's much bluer. Soften it right into the skin. Now I can see there is a light area here. This is much darker. This is much darker. So let me get a darker color. Let's get a little bit of eyebrow. So it says right here, it's like there's a lot of dark. And then right here, it's dark. And I'm gonna soften edges because your eyebrows are not kind of moving the way it says and hers goes this way. Okay. And then right here, there's almost nothing. I mean, it's there, but it kind of sort of isn't. So I'm just gonna leave up a gap. So let me do the other side. Now, she definitely has a very dark area right there. And then I'm just gonna lighten it up because I don't know sure what happened, but her eyebrows just are not here. So I'm just gonna give them a soft little line. Soft line. I want to get a more skin tone. Ooh, that was not the correct color. Now, again, this looks totally black, but I would not actually do it black. try it. Now, this has got to be darker than that, but I just haven't gotten there yet. That'll be the last things I do. I think I'm going to allow this up a little bit right here. I'm just going to grab a little and pull a little bit out. This is kind of my standard for a dark, dark, dark brown. And you know, I can make it black, but let's, you know, we'll be gentle. We'll come through this and we'll say, okay, and we'll just be gentle to get there. We don't have to do it so vibrant immediately because I may decide that I like it more brown. Talking about that I'm leaving a little gap over there where it's not so so obvious. I'm gonna soften this. I'm gonna soften. And I maybe add some color into, into here. Again, soften. And maybe I'll even throw a little bit of this color in and kind of just a little. Okay. All right, going back. I think I gotta get a little darker than that though. All right. Now. Now, this has to be softened into the eye. That also needs to be softened into the eye. Through here, get a little more color here. Here. I normally do the pupil a couple times. Again, it's not round, it's different shapes. And I actually like it softened so it goes into oops, look at that. Oops. Are you guys going, oh my God. Okay, I gotta clean my brush. Again, as long as you go immediately pick it back up, you can get by with all kinds of stuff. I feel this needs to be a little redder. There. I'm gonna make this a little less. There we go. I'm gonna soften into the eye more here too. I'm moving, trying to move the way the hair is going. Goes up, and kind of, then just moves here. I'm gonna add a little more hair, even though she doesn't have anything that I can see. We're just gonna pretend that she has a little hair. Popping that eye in again. This needs to be softened a little bit. Let's work on the other one. Now, it's much more in the shadow, but right here, it seems to be lighter. So I'm gonna do that. Now, you see how hard that line is? You want to immediately soften it so it doesn't look weird, because it would look weird if you didn't soften it. Now I have that little area, making it red. And what I've noticed on this one, she has red all the way out into her eye. So I'm just gonna soften it out and kind of just aim it in. there's this dark area right in this area. Now, she actually has no hair to speak of on this side either. It must be hitting the sun or something. All right, I'm gonna try to get some of this shadow and see how this goes. Well, I know, what do I know? Get a bigger brush, I know that much. All right, I know that if the water can go here, because I don't want it to, and I don't want to go here. It's this area that I'm gonna try to get. That right here it's much lighter. All right, because everything's at a slant, so I am having to pull this back. So I think I'm gonna flip it up, go backwards, so that I'm not fighting the slant. when I have itty bitty eyes, I use this. It's still my to-go brush. I'm still looking at this. I just didn't like how it looked. So I'm looking at it. I'm gonna add color. I'm looking at the shape. It was covered in shadow, so it's hard to see what it actually looks like, which is never helpful. Right, let's work on some eyelashes. Actually, you really don't see except for the tips of them, and that's typical unless somebody has really good fake eyelashes. Soften. May come out through and put some more right at the tip, but it's just enough that I go, okay, yeah, those are eyelashes. I know it can be particularly if you're doing somebody you know, makes it much harder. Much easier if you don't know this person because you can do what you want. But look at the shapes, try to relax. This isn't somebody's face that you know. You don't gonna care if it's perfect or not. Just enjoy the process. That's what it should be about. It should be about here enjoying what you're doing. It doesn't have to be perfect or not. So I love eyes, they make me happy. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please let me know. Again, the drawing is on my Facebook page. Drop that brush. So I'm over here, I'm doing my painting. And you know what? You thought, what am I doing, man? Doing something. I don't know, but I'm just gonna keep putting more paint on it. Stop, blow dry, drop that brush. You know what? Like, subscribe, and ring that bell, please. You take care. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week. Bye.